everyone, and welcome to Fun Fresh Friday. So, as you can see, I am here by myself. Yes, so it's my turn to be by myself, and because Stefania is at a much needed me time. So if she's watching, she's able to watch. She said she was, and I told her, just enjoy your me time. So, but if she does pop in, we'll have her, chime in and do all of that. So, but today we have a treat. Yes, we do. And fortunately, that I'm not going to be by myself. So we're going to talk about purpose. I've heard these, all these questions about purpose. What is your purpose? Do you know your purpose? Everything is purpose, 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 especially in the coaching arena, in the, entrepreneur side of the business life, um, or even just living. What is your purpose in life? So we're going to delve into that. But before we delve into that, I am going to bring our special guest tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and welcome her in. Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. you got
Yeah,
you got caught in traffic.
I did, but I'm here, right? Wherever you
Yes.
are, just stop. And that's the beauty about having our mobile offices that I could just hop on the car or hop up on the call with you today.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God for technology, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So, we have here Dr. Monica Reed.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, that's a loaded question. Well,
I
my name is
know.
right. So my name is Dr. Monica D. Reed, and I like to refer to the D as in determined. And so I wear many hats, right? So I'm a speaker, an author, or an award-winning author. I have a serial entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur, have several businesses. Um, and that's pretty much, I'm a mom and a wife and, all those good things in my personal life. So yeah, that sums up who I am. And then we'll dive a little bit more into what I do.
Yes. Wow. So, you are an award winning author. Let's not forget that, right?
Award winning author.
Award. So, thank you for joining. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much
having me.
for taking the time, and even even though you got caught on traffic, look, you just like, okay, let's do this.
That's right.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Our
Hmm.
topic today, because we always want to know purpose. We always want to know, what is our purpose in life, or why am I here? Is usually the question. You know, why am I born? What am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose in life? So, what is your definition of purpose?
Um, my definition of purpose is attaching a meaning to your existence, right? Attaching a meaning to your existence, your being, why you are here. And yes, that is a question like, why am I here? Why was I born? Some of the questions that may come out, well, who am I, right? Like once you start
Mm,
to dig into the actual work of discovering what your purpose is, but really attaching a significance, a
mhm.
meaning to your existence.
Hmm. So, what meaning do you attach to your existence?
Oh, goodness. Well, for me, if I can go all right, I'll answer the question directly because it's a long answer. But the meaning for me is everything around unity, around family. Um, that was some digging through layers,
Mm,
right, of my life of how I got to that. But for me, everything is around family. And in doing this, the self discovery, that's what
mm,
came out for me.
mm,
It just changes as you know, as you, it doesn't change, the purpose doesn't change, but
mm,
how you go about serving your purpose or standing in your purpose does shift, if
mm.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
so how many shifts have you made?
Several.
So,
I have made I've made several shifts.
uh-huh.
However, they are all grounded in relationships. So when I say family, it's the relationships dynamics. But I have shifted quite often in the past. I want to say 7 years after
Mm,
doing the self work to figure out what my actual purpose was.
mm.
Right. But yeah, I've probably made several different shifts, but they're all in alignment to my core purpose, which is all around family and relationships.
Oh, hmm. So, so here's my definition of purpose.
Yeah.
Um, I think that I like to quote other people who have their different definitions of purpose or things
Mhm.
like that. But the one that I really admired the most and that I really took hold of it was Robin Sharma. He's the author of the 5 a.m. Club and also the monk who sold his Ferrari. If you guys don't
Mm,
haven't read that, I highly recommend those two books. Um, he put down the purpose of life is life full of purposes.
mm.
So I'm like, yeah,
I like
yes,
that.
yeah. So because if you put yourself in one category, then you kind of shove the others or
Mm-hmm.
ignore it. You ignore
Mm-hmm.
it, uh, and you miss out on certain things. And that's where, my mind kind of like expanded. I was like, whoa, here I
Mm,
thinking that my sole purpose is to, help women that are in trauma, but yet
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of pushing this,
So
aside,
cool. Mm-hmm.
or not paying any attention to it. Um, so when I heard that, I was like, whoa, that kind of liberated me. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Yeah, my life is full of purposes.
Right. Purposes. That's right.
Yes.
Purposes.
Because if you take a look at it, like right now, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you're in a car,
Mm-hmm.
supposedly going somewhere, but you
Mm-hmm.
stop, right? And your
Mm-hmm.
main purpose right now is to be on the show,
That's right.
to serve.
To serve. Yes.
Yeah. So, my one thing, a question I do have, how did because you said everything that you do now is related to family or relationship.
Mm-hmm.
How did you come to that?
Hmm. So how I came to that is when I look at everything that everything that I did in the past, um, and started to really identify like what I really like to do, what I really enjoy to do. So what I was passionate about, um, what had the most impact, and then also aligning my story, right? I think that we find purpose in a certain part of our journey,
Hmm.
but we don't realize it until we start to actually try to find it, if that makes any sense, right?
Hmm.
But just really identifying my passions, what I really enjoy doing, what I was really passionate about, sticking to the core of who I am, and then really identifying what part of my journey has the most impact on the rest of the world.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how I found my purpose, but I had to again identify it first,
Hmm.
right? Um, for instance, sometimes you'll go to someone and you'll say, "Hey, I don't know, I want to use a story that's just like, hey, I bought a new car." Most people are like, "Oh, okay, congratulations, you bought a new car." That's what it is. If you say a story such as, "I survived," you know, breast cancer, or "I survived," just anything. People are like, "Really?" And they become relatable. So identifying my purpose for me was identifying the story, identifying the piece of my journey that could help someone else.
Mm. Mm. So, can I say in safety that when you say you dug deep in your personal,
Hmm.
would it be safe to say you dug deep in the pain of it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It would
So,
definitely have to be the pain of it. It
mhm.
does. I believe that we don't come through things just to come through them. They're for someone else to know that they can get through it too.
Mm.
And that's literally the nail on your purpose in life, to help someone else navigate through the pain, the journey, whatever the case may be. It shows up, stepping into your purpose and living out your purpose shows up in many different ways. But once you identify exactly what it is, why you are here, then you can start to live that out. But yeah, it was a lot of self work.
Well, so would it be difficult for you at times
Hmm.
to, um, now that you find your purpose, right?
Hmm.
Through the pain, through your journey, through
Hmm.
relationship, through family, uh,
Hmm.
do you find yourself sometimes having difficulty in navigating that purpose with family?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, for one, it's hard for anybody to identify or to understand a level of pain unless they've gone through it. So even though your purpose may be attached to family, so I'm going to just speak to myself. If someone in the family is not receiving what it is that you're trying to do, trying to help, and all those different things, it's either one or two things. They are, they're not receiving or accepting, the help, or, I mean, just naturally not receiving or accepting the help. They don't want to. They don't want the help, right? Or they don't understand,
Mm.
right? So it's hard to go through. It's hard to go back and help others if they're not receiving. So yes, it is. It's hard to, for me, it is hard to go through it with family, especially if family um doesn't identify with the pain.
Mm. Mm. Oh, so we have Sanaya Reed.
Welcome, Sanayari. Thank you so much for watching.
She said, "Hi, Mom, Auntie Zanetta. Hi." So, do you think, um, because for those that are watching, I don't know if you know, um, Dr. Reed has a magazine. I don't know how old the watchers are, but if you remember back in the 90s, um, 80s, 90s, that there was this magazine called Jet Magazine, and it was for African American community, and it just dissipated. Don't know why. Don't know. Maybe they didn't, go in the arena of the technology. They didn't, conformed to the
Mhm,
technology. But Dr. Reed has a magazine called The Black Family, and it showcases a lot of families. I understand that is. you know, the title Black Families for African American Community. But
Mhm.
but your stories in this in the magazine itself
Mhm.
is what all races go through.
Yeah.
And the but it's more of a community.
Mhm.
It's like, let's pull together, let's, show um, what it looks like to succeed, what it looks
Mhm.
like to go through a struggle and be able to come above that struggle.
Mhm.
So, in saying that, it is so hard to sometimes work your purpose
Mhm. Yeah.
with family.
Mhm.
Have you found a way to navigate through that, or have you explored, um,
Mhm.
because it is difficult for
Mhm.
family.
It is.
It's
It is.
difficult to uh, minister, to mentor, to
Mhm.
help family,
Mhm. Mhm.
because they see you as, oh, she's now a doctor. She Monica.
Mhm.
Or she
Mhm.
Mo.
Heck no.
Actually, no. So how do you navigate, or how do you try to, for those of us that are having issues or having problems or
Mhm.
having the pushback from
Mhm.
family, where we
Mhm.
want to help them,
Mhm.
but how is it that how can you get through that?
Yeah. So for me, my purpose is family, right?
Mhm.
So it maybe it's different for everyone. However, no matter what it is that you're trying to navigate, no matter if you're trying to, walk in your own purpose, no matter what that looks like, you will always have to deal with family, right? We're all born into a family, rather, our biological family, adopted family, family we took taken on, whatever the case may be. We have
Mhm.
relationships, a family relationship. For me, finding a way to navigate through family. Um, Again, as I mentioned earlier, not everybody will receive you and receive what it is that you're trying to do. And that does not mean that you stop inside of your purpose. What it means is you continue to show up in your purpose. And then those who are ready to receive or, who want the help or appreciate what you're doing as you're walking in your purpose, those are the people who you are, if I can use the term, called to serve, right? So we don't stop just because family doesn't understand your purpose. You continue to walk out your purpose because there's 7.6 billion people in this world, and someone needs you to show up in your purpose, right? Your God
Mhm.
given purpose. So navigating family for me used to be hard, right? Because naturally, we all want our family to come along. We all want our family to be on board, to understand, to support all those different things. But we have to understand as you're walking out your purpose, you're not called to help everybody,
Mm.
right? So again, you don't stop, you continue to show up, and then those who are you're meant to serve will come along. They will appreciate the help, right? But again, the family is a very interesting system, and I'm going to say system because we are a system, right? We are a system, and unfortunately, we have pieces of our family that are broken and needs to be fixed, and all those different things. But it is a system at the end of the day.
Yeah. So it's the mindset that,
Mhm.
it kind of, you have to navigate through and be savvy in how
Mhm.
to get through that. So, hmm, so how did you say it? We are not meant to serve everyone.
No, we're not.
So,
Not meant to serve everyone. I think that naturally, when you start to identify your purpose, it's a lot of your heart that goes into it, right? Because we talked about passion, we talked about purpose. It's a very a heartfelt journey. And so sometimes we can be offended by those who don't come along, but we're not meant to serve everyone. If we get caught up on the one person or the few people that don't want to come along or don't want the help, we will never walk out in our full divine purpose.
So um, how do you get through it? How do you get through the rejection? How do you get through? Let's say I'm just throwing this out there.
Hmm.
Let's just say your spouse doesn't want to, or
Hmm.
your children doesn't want to, or
Hmm.
for those that are still, with their parents, they'll say, "Stop dreaming this pipe dream.
Hmm.
Get your education, get your degree.
Hmm.
This purpose, this coaching entrepreneur is not going to get you anywhere." So
Hmm.
how do you get, because it can be disheartening.
Hmm.
It um, I'm gonna stop right there. I'm just gonna let you, because I'll ask that
Hmm.
question in my mind right now after you answer.
Okay.
How do you
So,
navigate through that?
how do you navigate through it? Just continue to show up. I mean, it is very disheartening, because you want everybody to understand why it's so important to you. But one thing that I had to realize, in my own journey, is that not everybody sees what you see. The vision wasn't given to everyone. The vision was given to you. So it's one of those things that, you're telling someone, hey, this is where we're headed, this is what we're doing. I have to do this. I'm so determined because I know I've done the self work to figure out what my purpose is. But not everyone sees it because it wasn't meant for them to. So sometimes we have to be a little lenient with the people around us because they don't see what you see.
Hmm.
So really you have to navigate. When you say navigate, you have to go around what people are thinking. You have to go around what how people not showing up for you. You have to go around people not supporting you. You have to navigate just like that and just keep your eyes focused on what it is that you were meant to do.
Yeah.
And then again, once again, as you're navigating those who come along who happen to not see the vision, but understand your passion for the vision and understand that you're headed in a direction that means a lot to you and they're willing to support, those people will come along on the journey.
Hmm.
But you have to stay focused.
So what does it mean to navigate? What is your terminology, or um, uh, what is your meaning? How do you how can you explain navigation when you're navigating things, with family?
Navigating for me
Hmm.
is um, finding balance. Not so much of, I mean, there's never going to be a fine balance, right? But navigating for me is really identifying who I need to talk to about certain things, right? Who I need to bring in certain circles. I don't believe that everybody in your life is meant for the same circle.
Mm.
Protecting your vision and what you're doing, protecting your energy and your environment. These are all navigations, right? Because any one of those can take you off focus,
Mm.
right? From walking in your full purpose. So you have to learn how to navigate through your environment. Especially if you have a large family, or if you have you know a spouse who doesn't understand, or children who don't understand, or just family in general who don't understand, right? um yeah, that's pretty much. You just have to really look at, keep those different people in different categories. You
Mm.
can't talk to everybody. You can't bring everybody to the same circle. As much as we want to, you cannot do it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So here's what a person had asked me. Well, what's your definitions in that of navigate? Because it seems like I hear you say that word all the time.
Hmm.
Navigate, navigate. What do you mean by navigate?
Hmm.
So, because my husband is a pilot,
Hmm. That's it, sir.
because he's a pilot,
Hmm.
and when we went up in the sky,
Hmm.
and um, he's the expert, right? And it's
Hmm.
smooth sailing, while he
Hmm.
has the you know, I don't even want to call it the sticks or whatever it's called. He has it, and then he told me to take control, and I was like, no,
Mhm.
no, no. He's like, yes,
Mm.
do. So when I took control, oh, we made a dip.
Mm.
And then he took it back.
Mhm. I
So
love it.
there are times where we think that we have partners that can
Mhm.
actually navigate
Mhm.
or take the wheel, if
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
be able to have that instinct to help us, side
Mhm.
by side. So that's why I like what you said. We're not here for everybody.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
when you're driving alone. Nobody's driving on your lap.
Mhm.
When you're steering alone. Nobody's
Mhm.
steering on your lap. So when I explained, the navigation is that know when to stop, know when to make that right turn, know when to make that left turn. You
Mhm.
have that instinct of driving. You know that
Mhm.
there's something on the road that is about to, slow down.
Yeah.
There's certain things that, that's the navigation of it. So with my family, who
Mhm.
who says, "Oh, I see you on the line. Well, I see you this and I." Mm.
Okay.
I know when to go full force, and I know when to step back, and I know
Yeah.
when to, put a halt to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, we're
Mhm.
gonna put this on park.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, so have you found yourself wanting to put it on park or abandon the vehicle?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that sometimes it's just like being in any other type of traffic or feeling like you got to take long detours on. We sometimes will want to park it or give it up and all those different things. So, um, it's okay to, what I will say to that, it's okay to pause. It's okay to yield, but you don't stop.
Mm, don't get out.
You don't get out. Don't get out. No, you can't. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I know we're probably, for those who don't understand, like what, and they're not following along. Anytime you're not walking in your purpose, it really does hurt, right? Because you'll always stand there and say, well, what if I would have just did this? Or how will life be? You always, there's a level of accountability. Once you identify your purpose, there's a level of accountability.
Mm,
And it's like, you can't get out and abandon your car, right? You can't get out and abandon and walk away from the vehicle, if I could put it in that term,
mm-hmm,
right? Um, you just can't, you know what I mean? But like I said, there's a level of accountability once you do identify it. And the reason why you can't stop and you can't get out is because sometimes we make the purpose about us and it's really about others.
yeah.
And that's the part that people miss.
Especially about abandoning your vehicle when there's nothing wrong with
Well, that too, right?
it. There's nothing wrong with the vehicle. Um,
Hmm.
it's just the traffic. That's
Yeah,
all it is.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So, so so how did you find your purpose? You said you have you're I know you said earlier you're a serial entrepreneur. So how did you find your purpose in those different?
Business ventures.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, it was really identifying my core values, right? So I'm always studying, like, who am I, right? We always want to do self discovery. Sorry about the lighting here. Um, we always want to do self discovery and figure out who we are. What do we, what means a lot for us. And for me, what meant a lot, which was, again, you could take all these different studies. I want to send some over. I started researching archetypes. I
Mm-hmm.
started researching just all these different things. And as I started to take more and more tests and learn more about myself, I was like, this is so the core of who I am. And I think I shared with you years ago that came up as, love, unity, and legacy. And if I
Mm-hmm.
tie that around family and relationships, if I could show up authentically me, it would be those three things.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that I built always had that core, those three cores. Everything has to be around love, building unity, and creating some type of legacy. Love through our actions, unity again through what we do and how we provide things, um, and how we build, and then legacy. What do we leave? What do we build? Again, back to the relationships, back to the family.
Mm. So do you find yourself burned out at times?
Absolutely.
And what so what
Absolutely.
so what do you do during those burned out times?
You sit, reset,
How do you
reset.
how do you
Um, reset for me has a lot to do with taking me time, right? A lot of people don't believe in me time. A lot of the people around you won't believe in me time, but you have to take time for yourself.
mm.
You truly do.
I heard someone say, I used to think that me time was selfish,
Yes.
but now me time is a necessity.
Necessity.
Yeah,
Absolutely. If you're not well, the people around you won't be well either. And they're definitely not going to be well if you're not here.
so true.
Yeah.
So true.
So I don't look at it as to be a selfish thing anymore. I don't listen to people who tell me that they don't believe in it anymore. It's something that I have to do for me, whether people understand or not.
So, what do you do on your me time or hitting reset? Uh, Give us a glimpse of what Dr. Monica D. Reed
Well, for
does.
me, yeah, for me, it's a lot to do with for me, water is everything. So going to the water, brainstorming, releasing, journaling, reading, all those things that I love to do that kind of give me a second wind
Mhm.
for me to show up rejuvenated. Sometimes I'll do empowerment conferences and all those things because they feed my soul, right? I do a lot of worshiping in the middle of the night, right? Like praise and worshiping in the middle of the night because it gives me a level of energy that I need, right? Or peace, should I say. And then the last thing is constantly meditating on some type of music that relaxes the body and the mind,
Mm,
right? So I do a lot of things. It's really interesting to really keep peace within myself and to keep the energy that I need for the rest of the world.
mm. Wow, midnight worship, yes. She's like, midnight worship, yay.
Right. They know about it in my house. They're like, "Oh God, it's 11:45. Here she go." Right. So, but it helps me stay in tune with who I am.
Yeah, I have started. Uh, I mentioned earlier Robin Sharma, the
Mhm.
5 a.m. club, um, and it's amazing. It has changed me. It has
Mhm.
changed the way I do things. Certain things
Mhm.
that I do. Uh,
Mhm.
that's my me time. My
Mhm.
me time is at 5, well, 4:30 ish, 5, and
Mhm.
I start. That's how I start my day. Uh,
Mhm.
and just like yours, it's midnight worship, so it's totally different for everybody. But that's
Mhm.
pretty good. So in in all of these different um, venues that you have you
Little ventures.
uh, have you dropped some?
Um, Good question. Um, I have. I have. And I think that's what I was talking about with the shift earlier.
Hmm.
You guys okay? I have dropped some. And so where I began if I could just go a little bit back, where I began was helping like a couples empowerment in the beginning. And then I went on to women empowerment. And then I went on to kind of stay in that arena, right? Then I went on to entrepreneurship, building again back to the legacy piece. And now bringing everything full circle with the Black Family Magazine. So I didn't really give up anything. It was the way that I was doing things. And a lot of it had to do with what I was discovering once I started walking out my purpose.
Mm. So sometimes we can feel this way. Do you feel
Hmm.
sometimes that you've wasted time?
No.
Do you feel like um, that you failed those other venues, that it didn't flourish the way you wanted it?
Yes. Hmm. However, I do know that if I had not done those things in that moment, it wouldn't have led me to where I am now.
Yeah, let's talk about that failure. You feel like you failed. Um,
Hmm.
say, talk a little bit more about that, and how did you navigate through that, feeling like you failed, and it
Hmm.
didn't flourish, it didn't work? How did you get to that, to overcome that, to get to where you think your purpose really is now, where it lies?
Yeah. Paying attention to some of the things that I did wrong was really key for me. Was it something that my heart was doing? Um, Sometimes we can lead businesses based off of our hearts, right? And not off of data and all those different things. Um, but I don't believe that they were failures. I believe that they were always lessons. And I believe that each thing, like for instance, each thing that I've started kind of came back, but it came back for a different purpose, right? So, for instance, if I could use the Entrepreneur Business Center, um, absolutely loved it. It was very good, right? Like we made our investment back within the first day. It was really good. But there was new things that I was discovering as I would be helping people start up their new businesses. I realized we had a lot of trauma, or we had a lot of financial issues and all those different things. So I started to shift the business to help with the mindset, started to shift the business to bring in resources because people obviously weren't ready for what they thought they were ready for. I started shifting a lot of things. So, um, yeah, it really was. And then again, it came back to relationship. Why do we think that we're not good enough to start a business? Why are we not financially prepared? All these different things as a community. So I went back and shifted the business a little bit, right? To again, I'm always looking for the root cause of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't believe that it was a total failure at all.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that it was just molding me into what it is I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, again, you continue to walk out the purpose, right? If you have this purpose, you walk it out. If you say if you're meant to do this, or you're meant to solve this problem, you cannot give up. And what eventually happens is then you run into, you know, you run into you fully walking into your purpose, and you'll know that when a certain business venture starts to blossom, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even gonna, and I sometimes I hate tying the whole purpose thing to business, but it is what it is in my story, because someone's purpose might be being the best father ever, or the best mother ever, or whatever. So I don't want everybody to think that your purpose only lies in business,
Mm-hmm.
but your purpose is measured through your impact,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about business. It's really about level of impact. I do apologize for this lighting, guys, but I hope you can hear me because it's really good information.
Yes, we can hear you.
Um, but yeah, I can put my little cute picture on if you want.
No.
Um, but seriously, purpose is really measured based off of your impact. As I mentioned in the before, it's what can change lives for others.
Mm-hmm.
right? So if it comes to your business and your business is blossoming, that means because you have a great product or service that's changing lives. It's helping someone change their life, whether it be to do something faster or better, or to make more money. You're changing someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
So if your purpose is not directly entrepreneurship or an entrepreneur, how are you being the best mother ever? How are you being the best coach ever, the best mentor ever? You would see that through transformation of the people that you're mentoring. So there's always a level of measurement when you know that you're walking in your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what you said. You don't see it as failure. I always said that. Failure always points to success,
Yes, it
and
does.
I finally boiled it down to failure is a first step on the road to success.
I like that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
because failure tells you it's a lot of information. Failure
Hmm.
gives you a lot of information. What didn't
Hmm.
work?
Yeah.
What you should do, what you need
Hmm.
to do, what you need to tweak, what you need to change, what you need to. There's your beautiful face. Oh, yes.
You see that? Found some lighting around here. That's nice.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, it is it's really interesting, you know what I mean, like as you're starting to walk it out. And so now I never say that I failed anything, right? It really was a lesson for me. It was tweaking things until I got it right, you know. I think when people look at monetarily, like, oh, I lost money. No, it was an investment, right? um or was you pouring into your business or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I don't look at anything as a failure anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important for us to sit down after something does not work the way that we think it should work, is to really sit down and really um, take note and take inventory about what worked, what didn't work, and what were the lessons,
Hmm.
what were the blessings out of it. And then you start to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to
Hmm.
share something with you, and I hope that some of the viewers can understand this,
Hmm.
as to what I'm going to say. And I think a whole bunch of viewers that are in the entrepreneurial arena and that have tried so many programs and invested in so many programs,
Hmm.
and it didn't go anywhere. But here is a good friend of mine had said this. I had paid a lot of money
Hmm.
to be in connection with you.
Hmm.
What I paid the money into failed, but my connection with you blossomed. So I'm gonna say this: I paid a lot of money to meet you because we were in a program.
Hmm.
Let's not go there. Um, yeah. So it wasn't still. It wasn't all bad. You know,
Hmm.
it might have been scammed,
Hmm.
but this
Hmm.
friendship, this relationship, is not a
Yeah,
scam. Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I got
I
something
love that you say
out of it.
that.
Yeah, got
I
something out of
love,
it.
yeah, I love that you say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of us in the entrepreneurial space will always feel that way, right? There's so many different things and reasons why things don't work, programs and people and coaches and all these different things. But again, if you look and take inventory about the people that you met, relationship capital is golden, right? Relationships that you've built. It may have been a person that you met, like you said, inside of a program. Again, I never look at things and say, oh, wow, that was a total loss. Again, take inventory about what you gained out of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna rephrase that. I did not pay a lot of money to meet you.
I did.
I would. Yeah.
Okay, behave.
It was a bargain.
Hmm.
It was a bargain because you
Hmm.
are worth more than what I paid for.
Yeah.
You are way worth more than what I've ever paid for that program. Yeah. So in for those that are still looking for, you know, what is my purpose?
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm to, service uh, women, service men, service
Mhm.
relationships, service.
Mhm.
How? Um, what? What nuggets? What wisdom can you give for those that are still in? I don't know.
Yeah.
What I need to do.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, there's always a certain point in your life that will stand out for you. Um, where you have overcome, come through um something, right? And you have to go back and identify it. A lot of times, so I always laugh because people say, nobody wants to revisit the past. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And the reason why is because there's some things that you probably should have left back in your past, right? So it gives you an opportunity to go drop that baggage off that we've been carrying around. But there's also some gems back there. So there's some things that we needed to learn along the way. There's some experiences that we've had along the way. But look for that painful, that really painful part of your journey that you had to come through in order to go back and help someone else. So I like to always when I'm teaching her Impact and Success Academy, I'm always talking about what it is that you can identify from the journey that again that will go out to impact somebody else, someone else's life. What steps could you give them? How can you bring them forward? And not everything will turn into a business per se. Matter of fact, I don't suggest that everybody turn their purpose into a business, but there's so many organizations, there's so many people out here who need that type of help, right? So many people that you could be serving, so many people. Again, whatever it looks like, how far you want to go, what type of things you want to develop, but you got to go back to identify that one key or a couple of key places. I would always say one or two because we do have purposes and they shift, but the core purpose does not shift, right? Um, I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? But yeah, you have to
Yeah.
go back to identify that one part of your life that means the most. And then be willing to walk in the purpose. So after you go back to identify, it's like, okay, it's almost like if I could, paint the picture, someone lying in the road, right? And they need help. You can go back and see that they need help, but what are you going to do to help them? Right? Do you leave the person there? Well, purpose is almost like that. Like you're going back to help these people. You have to be willing to help bring them forward,
Hmm.
right? So yeah, go back to identify that piece of your journey that you left behind. Because a lot of us, we walk around like, I don't know my purpose. No, you just didn't sit down and think about it. You didn't reveal it,
Yeah.
right? Purpose doesn't find you,
Hmm.
right? You got to go back to find it. You have to
Right.
identify it.
Yeah.
You just reveal it.
Right. Right. I think, as kids, if we go back when we were kids, we
Hmm.
had this dream. Um, I always had a dream of, being a scientist or, someone, or a archaeologist.
Hmm. Hmm.
Something to do with, because if I really boil it down to
Hmm.
a single, um, you know, a single purpose,
Hmm.
um, it's how um, life evolved, how life comes
Hmm.
about, and what's the purpose of life? What is
Hmm.
life?
Hmm.
Uh, and so I wanted to be an archaeologist because you find bones and you want to know about that person and that history. And then I
Hmm.
wanted to be a scientist, you know, um, to study how Earth came about, how life form came. So
Hmm.
the core of it, like we were talking about it early, there's a core sense to it,
Yep.
is life. So,
Mhm.
so I find myself, even in reading, even in, things that attract me, it's
Mhm.
always about the mindset, how you look at things,
Mhm.
um, how you take trauma and turn
Uh-huh.
it into, what it was there for.
Mhm.
Because if you take a look at our body,
Mhm.
if we are in need of
Mhm.
attention, if we are
Mhm.
in need of medical attention,
Mhm.
trauma is going to come because you're either going to be, if you're having heart issues or your heart stop, that
Mhm.
defibrillator is going to shock your body. So that's trauma to the body.
Mhm.
So you're going to experience some type of trauma to get you going.
Mhm.
And that's what it is. Pain is a motivator. Pain reminds you that you are alive.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what it does. Pain is a
Yeah.
reminder.
Yeah.
Because if you don't feel anymore, then hmm, there might be some questions, some issues if you
Yeah.
don't feel pain anymore. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
If you get hit and you say, I don't feel that, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Something is definitely
Absolutely.
so you
Absolutely.
have to take that and transform it.
Mhm.
What is it for? Like what you said, it's the core.
Mhm.
You have to understand that. Go back and see what
Mhm.
was the core in that
Mhm.
lesson. Bring
Mhm.
it forward.
Mhm.
Bring the good stuff with you. Leave the
Yeah.
bad in the past.
Absolutely. And so for me, like I said, pain for me came through family relationships. So I
Mm,
was always passionate about it. Like why do people um if you call yourself family, why do people show up this way? If you call yourself family, why are we not doing this?
mm,
Calling yourself family, why are we hurting each other? So as I started to dig deeper into the core, the root issue, should I say, of the family dynamics, I became so passionate about bringing a solution, right? Bringing a solution to the relationship dynamics. And then adapting my core values of love, unity, and legacy. But for me, I always wanted to find solutions for families so that we could stop showing up the way that we do inside of our families.
mm,
Um, So that's why I said my whole journey has taken a shift because I realized, you know, as I was working with couples, that you couldn't be a couple without doing your own individual self work. You had to bring your whole self to the relationship.
mm-hmm,
And then you couldn't bring your whole self to the relationship if you have underlying issues or whatever those case may be that's stopping you from being who you are inside of or your fullest potential inside the relationship. And then again, I'm always working my way back to the root cause. So I became very passionate about helping families because that's where most of my pain lied,
mm,
because I am such a family oriented person.
mm-hmm,
So I've always wanted to solve that. And then also, um, when you come through some things. So I've been through some things when it came through family, and I believe I've come out on a great side, right? And so many people are dealing with hurt of family that they're now like, hey, what do I do? You know, what did you do?
mm-hmm,
And, all those different things. So I go back and I share my journey. And in sharing my journey, I'm able to measure my level of impact. So that's how I know that I'm walking fully in my purpose because there's lives that are being changed because of the things I've already overcome.
yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So, do you have, we are nearing almost an hour.
Yeah.
Do you have any, last thoughts, last nuggets that can um, have an impact
hmm
on some of the viewers
Yeah.
in
So
terms of
I'm told,
purpose?
Yeah, so I hold dear onto my slogan that I've been using for years, or my quote, should I say, that if you don't know who you are, the rest of the world won't know you either. So really knowing who you are will identify your purpose. Tapping in and doing the work to figure out who you are will tap into your purpose. And once you walk in your purpose, then you have a different level of impact. So you're able to help people. But I always say that it's so worth it. Never sit here in life and just wake up every day and just think that we're just here to exist, to have fun until our time is up. We all were birthed for a reason, and it's really our responsibility to figure out what that reason is. Otherwise, we
Mhm.
waste our lives, our whole existence.
Mm. Yeah, I like that. If you don't know who you are, the world won't know you either. Yeah, because sometimes we have this imposter or this
Hmm.
pretend person or
Hmm.
this person who we made up because of certain people saying no, you're not that, no, you're not good at that, no, you I don't
Hmm.
know what you're doing, why are you,
Hmm.
you know, why do you want to be an artist,
Hmm.
kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
It doesn't make money. So here
Hmm.
you are on a path that you
Hmm.
really didn't like, you don't have a passion for it, you know,
Hmm.
it's not really you, so you've become
Hmm.
somebody else.
Yes.
So yeah, that's really good. If you
Hmm.
don't know who you are, the world won't know you either. So,
Hmm.
and where can they reach you? What can they, um, how can they get this magazine that,
Absolutely. So, where anyone can find out all of my adventures, what I've been doing, what I've been up to in the world by going to monicadreed.com. And our latest adventure, the Black Family Magazine, can be found all over social media at the Black Family Magazine. Very simple. But every if you review my website and then you see the pages, all the social media pages, you will see how this is just a full circle moment of me really walking out my purpose. All the different layers, all the different ventures that I've started lead right back to this one publication, and so it's really, really, really exciting. Um, so you'll start to see the alignment. But yeah, that's where they can find me. MonicaDReed.com.
okay. Now, in terms of if they want to book you for speaking, book you for any kind of consultation, do they also go to that website?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Give us a last couple of words, wisdom, and
So for me, my last couple of words is
you're like,
yes. My last couple of words have probably mentioned it sometime during this live, but your level of success is measured by the impact that it's made in the world.
mm, 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 good,
That's it.
awesome. Well, on that note,
Thank you so much for having me.
you're quite welcome. Do you have I'm sorry, let me just ask one more question. Do you have any kind of upcoming events?
I do actually. I do. So the Black Family Magazine is the first Black family magazine ever of its kind, and it is an African American empowerment publication. And we are officially launching in Atlanta and in New Jersey. Again, you can go to all of our social media pages to come and be a part of this historical event. Earlier, you did mention that Ebony and Jet used to be the magazine of the African American community. So we're bringing, we're starting something new. It has not been done, and we're bringing this a new version of this publication. And so, yeah, come out to the official launches in Atlanta and in New Jersey. But you want to follow along on social media because we actually will be launching in every single state over the next 12 months.
Awesome, awesome. And what is the date? Do you have a date yet?
July 17th for New Jersey and July 23rd for Atlanta at the new
Oh,
Black Wall Street Market.
okay. So I will be going back and watching this and put it on the chat. That way everybody can see it, and
Thank
it'll
you.
be on there. So July 17th and 28th.
23rd.
23rd. Sorry,
Mm-hmm. Nope.
July 17th and 23rd.
Yes.
So thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming and gracing our Fun Fresh Friday.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And as Stefania would always say, we give you love, we give you passion. Until next time, bye bye.
Bye.